Warning, if you might be offended by foul language or off-color jokes, now is the time to kindly fuck off.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the London Are Calling Pubcast. No Premier League this week, but we are going to talk a little about international football. I was fortunate enough to work all the Concacaf Nations League games at AT&T since I worked there, and I was there for all the matches. Wow, especially that USA-Mexico match. I'll touch on that in a minute. There were some international friendlies we'll talk about, some stories, Wanker of the week, and then we have Aston Villa fan Paul Limpitlaw going to join us later in the show, talk about his journey with Villa, their charity, a little bit more about football in general and stuff. So some good stuff coming up today. I'm Ben Drabick, as always joined by Barry Tate. Barry, how we doing today?
Barry Roan Tate.
You're on full name.
No one knows my middle name. I just threw it out there.
Should I say my middle name?
What's yours?
Mine's Stuart.
Sally.
Stuart.
Sally.
Don't act like you can't hear what I'm saying, you prick. No, I'll tell you this. I'm Benjamin.
Sally.
You done?
It's a song, yeah.
Yeah, you good? Can I talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I'm Benjamin Stewart Drabick's the full name. If I get called Benjamin, I'm in trouble with my mother.
Yeah, no,
if I get Benjamin Stewart, I'm in serious trouble with my mother, so no one really knows my middle name.
Talking about mothers.
Okay.
When a mother has a child,
Yeah.
they automatically become a ventriloquist. Mothers become ventriloquists.
Elaborate on that.
What?
Elaborate on that. What do you mean?
You'll be at the store with your little 3-year-old.
Yeah.
You ain't not get on, you little bastard. Don't even move your lips. You little bastard.
Funny you mentioned that.
Yeah.
My dad always had a signal when I was younger growing up. If I forgot to say thank you or please or something to a stranger, my dad would rub his chin like this. And I knew that meant use your manners right now. Like get it right. So
dad,
it's funny like that.
I was born over here, as you know. My dad was a Texan. My mum was English. Mm-hmm. My dad, we had to call him sir and my mum ma'am. And my mum hated it.
My best friend's parents were the same way.
Yeah, but if we didn't call my dad sir, he used to knuckle us across the head. To this day, I don't call anybody sir. I never will. I could never join the military. Really? I couldn't be a policeman.
I say sir and ma'am all the time.
I fucking no bollocks.
It's funny, my parents never made me do that, but my friends' parents,
I call
watched
someone
them,
governor or mate, never sir.
No, look, I saw growing up, my friend, when we were kids, right? And his dad would be like, hey, are you going to go do this? And he'd be like, yes. And his dad would literally stop and be like, yes, what? And he would have to turn around and say, yes, sir. And now growing up in the South, I think, is sir and ma'am are a little bit more cordial. That's a thing. So I say sir and ma'am to people all the time. But I've run across people where I'll call women ma'am, and they're like, oh, no, please don't. That's like, they makes you think they're older or something. And I'm like, no, it's not an age thing for me. It's just a politeness thing. So it's funny how different regions and communication. Anyway, enough about us and that. Right. Let's get into it. I want to start with USA-Mexico, if you're okay with that, because I want to tell a story that I'm on the edge of my butt to tell.
Go on, then.
All right. So for those that don't know, USA played Mexico in the Nations League final last night. USA won 2-0. Tyler Adams, did you see that first goal?
Yep.
Good night, man. That's a Puskás level goal. That was brilliant. And then Gio Reyna added another one.
He couldn't score one again like that.
Oh my God, never in his career he'll hit a sweeter ball than that. But I want to talk about something outside of the game. So obviously the reputation, Mexico fans, they have some bad chants. They get angry when they lose. It's not a good look. Concacaf has had this issue years and years prior. It's happened for a long time. There was a fight in the crowd. So we have cameras everywhere, right? So the game's going on and we see a fight in the crowd. And this USA fan's just giving it to this Mexico fan, and Mexico guy shoves him over. He falls backwards over 2 rows of seats. Now, what he does next made me so proud. He gets up, stands up after being knocked over, and puts up 2-0 on his hands. And like the Statue of Liberty holding her torch through the night of a storm, there he was holding up his hands as beer is rained and cups thrown at him. And the fans are just giving him, mind you, he just got knocked over and he stands tall like a statue in the rain. I almost started saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I was so proud of this man. I loved it so much. It was so lovely and beautiful in the sport and the hate and the rivalry. It was so intense. And in that moment, even funny enough, we had the Mexico TV station in the booth right next to our control room, and when we scored the second, I was fist pumping a little bit, and they were staring at me like, yeah, you put your eye. They were just furious, and I gave it back to them a little bit, but that rivalry, man, that feeling, that energy, it was there, and it was.
Because you've taken enough. It's when you've lost, you haven't lost them for a while, actually.
That's 5 finals in a row that we've beaten them. It's LLLLL tree right now.
They actually didn't look that good last night.
They looked terrible. we dominated possession. I can't think of a chance that they really had
That's
that I was like,
your goalkeeper didn't have...
like Matt Turner had a couple of easy ones. But like I wasn't there like, oh, Mexico could have scored here, or oh, we got lucky to get away with Jamaica in the semifinal. We got lucky.
Yeah, you shouldn't have been there. Actually.
We shouldn't
Jamaica
have been there. We were down 1-0. Jamaica scores an own goal in the last minute.
Yeah.
And again, I think that's on Berhalter because he didn't roll out his best lineup against Jamaica because they didn't have their best lineup, and he thought we could coast. We couldn't. He almost lost his job basically because of it, in my opinion. But I just want to talk about that USA-Mexico game for a second because it was brilliant. I loved the rivalry. I loved that fan. That fan's my hero right now. I loved it. It was so much fun. So
we can't talk about England because I didn't watch the game.
They lost 1-0 to Brazil. It's an international friendly. A lot of players have withdrawn from the England squad to go focus on
I did read. They said that the England. They said Brazil was coming in strong.
Brazil did.
It was a friendly, but they're going in like it.
They played Endrick, the 17-year-old that's joining Real Madrid, scored the winner, the 1-0. They were playing Vinicius, Rodrigo, as Paul talks about later. The Douglas Luiz, he was there. Some more Villa players were on the park. Brazil went strong. England didn't go weak by any means.
Thing is with England, we're all talking, because we were talking before we came in here about Gareth Southgate, and we're all hoping that Man United take him as a manager.
Yeah.
But to be an England manager, it's hard anyway. Yeah. Firstly, when they get chosen, it's never a manager that the fans want. It's always one that's knows how to be politically correct, or knows
There's a lot of politics involved in selecting the manager for an international team.
I get all that, but also when you play for England, when England are playing in these tournaments, you can't go hell for leather. You can't play the high line like some you can, week to week.
It's way different than a domestic league.
Yeah, you've got to really protect, make sure you don't let them score, no matter what.
Sometimes you feel like England's I feel like England's playing a little more protect football than attack football.
England always gives teams too much respect. I
hate to bring this up. It's like how we mentioned this too. Watching Tottenham before Ange Postecoglou in the Mourinho era of let's sit back, let's defend the ball, and let's try to win 1-0 on a counter, as compared to now, I think it's a great example of we're going to be pressing, we're going to be aggressive.
England's problem is actually in the back line, centre back. They've still got Maguire, and
Southgate loves Maguire. But he loves Maguire.
He's loyal to a point of being. There's loyalty, and you've got to pick your best players. I don't know who. I don't know who's going to take that position because I don't think we got anybody yet. Down the line, it will be Braithwaite, the Everton boy.
Yeah.
But at the moment...
Well, there's other issues too. Ben White doesn't want to be in the squad because of rows with managers. He's someone that could play that role because he can drop into right back, centre back. He can play in the midfield if needed a little bit.
Yeah, but he's an Arsenal player, so that's not a fucking miss, is it, Ben White?
Is it? Because he's pretty good. And England, well, I don't know. England's player of the year for the last 2 years plays for Arsenal too with Bukayo Saka. So you can slander all you want, but I got facts to back up that we're like that. So
we've gone through England because there's not much to talk about. We lost 1-0. There's friendlies. Any other friendlies?
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Kai Havertz scored again for Germany.
Oh, he did, didn't he? That was a good win. Yeah, against it.
Do you see their goal 6 seconds or 7 seconds into the game?
That is you talk about sometimes, when you're watching Tottenham, you don't want to see Tottenham win. Yeah. Sometimes you have to because it helps Arsenal.
It helps elsewhere, yeah.
What do you think I felt like this weekend? France, Germany.
Yeah.
I don't even want them to fucking play. I can't stand a pair of them.
Well, it took 7 seconds to get a goal. Honestly. Toni Kroos comes back to the German side, gets an assist 7 seconds in. The second goal, Musiala, by the way, what a player. What a player Bayern have on their hands. He did everything, and Havertz smacked it in the back of the net. We're going to clearly overhype Havertz for that because that's what I do.
Yeah, I didn't see the game, as I said.
It's March Wirtz. He's on a ridiculous tear, and luckily, I'll say this, we've got one game left in March Wirtz, and it's at Man City on the last day of March, so he's got something for us, hopefully.
There was one of the French team, I forget his name,
Chouameni.
Who?
Chouameni.
Too many?
Yeah. Chouameni. Yeah, too many.
Okay. So too many.
The Madrid player.
He said we were. They killed us, basically.
They did.
And he admitted it.
I'll tell you what, Havertz looked in the number 9
role. So was that an off day for France, obviously, or was it the managers getting a bit, need a new manager?
No. Okay, Deschamps.
That's what they start saying.
Deschamps, I do not understand his center back selection. Leaving Saliba on the bench, leaving Konate on the bench, playing Jules Koundé as a right back when he's a center back.
It didn't mean anything, did it? So you try players out.
But he's not played the players that I think and look, what do I know? He's a World Cup winning manager. I'm just some kid in Texas, right? But I would love to see Konate and Saliba start for France. I think a lot of French fans would too.
The only time I was on the bench, and it absolutely destroyed me, I was on the bench. Mm-hmm. I was at an orgy. And I'm on the bench. I'm waiting to get called on. Fuck all. I mean, it destroyed me. Anyway,
That's a confidence. That's a big stab to the confidence right there. That's tough.
I mean, I sat there watching. God. What else can you do? Yeah.
But anyways, I thought Havertz is the number 9 again for Germany. Man, we've seen it more with Arsenal lately. We're seeing it with Germany. His confidence is back. He's growing into that role. Also, something that I think hasn't been talked about much with him. He's grown physically a lot. He's only 24 years old. He's coming into his own body in a way of figuring.
Who are we talking about?
Havertz. He's really figuring out how to run better, move better with his new physique in a way.
It's like a 2-year-old kid. You see a 2-year-old kid when they're walking around.
He's learning.
Their head is massive.
Yeah.
No, I mean it. The head's massive, and then the body eventually grows into it. So he's gone past his 2-year-old stage.
Yeah, whatever you want to say. But I think that he's really gaining a lot of confidence too. I think that he's been more unlocked this season, and it makes me happy, obviously, as an Arsenal fan to see, but also just as a football fan. Where he was at Leverkusen, and I know that he had some highlights at Chelsea, but let's be real, it was more down for him. And to see him come back to those levels, it's really good for the world of football, I think.
I mean, obviously, it's a good win for Germany. I'm going to go stop here, because I've been getting complaints from Tottenham fans. Oh, my goodness. I didn't realise how sensitive they were.
Really?
Oh, sensitive?
Tottenham, you will love what I have to say later in the episode, Tottenham, because I, again, stand on business. Are we going on to
Tottenham later?
Well, we talked about it with Paul. We'll talk about Paul later with the top 4 race. Oh, okay. And I'll tell you, Tottenham fans, I stand on my business and say you finish 4th.
So, sometimes every family's got black sheep, or you've got someone in jail, or someone you don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
I've got my ex-wife, I've got my sister-in-law, and my nephew.
Okay.
I don't like to say this in front of everybody, but unfortunately, we all have them.
We're here.
They're Tottenham fans.
Oh, gross.
No, I mean it.
Oh, my God. Actually? Like real ones?
Yeah, you can't get rid of them. They're family.
Like wearing the jerseys
and
stuff?
And they come round for Christmas. Oh, fuck off.
Oh, my
anyway,
God.
So, I spoke to my nephew.
Fair, when you get them gifts, I'm sure it's all discounted.
I spoke to my nephew this weekend, the Tottenham fan, and he gave me the best quote. It beats Kennedy saying, ask not what your country can do for you.
Yeah,
it beats Martin Luther King, I had a dream.
Wow.
This murders him, okay?
Beautiful.
I said to him, did you listen to the last podcast? He said, no. I'm not going to listen.
Which one were you referring to?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
He said, I'm not going to listen to the podcast after Arsenal had just beaten Porto, and I've got to listen to your co-host give Arsenal a blowjob.
Damn right. Damn right. Stay mad. Stay mad, buddy. Stay mad. Hope you enjoy watching us. If you want, I'll give you my Paramount Plus so you can actually watch the Champions League. See what it's like sometime, yeah?
I'll tell you what.
Stay mad. I can't believe I defended them later in this episode. Stay mad.
I'll tell you what, you know how to bring in viewers, don't you?
Hey, it works. Hey, if you want to hate watch, hate watch.
Uncle. You're welcome.
If you want to hate watch me, brother, hate watch
me.
Anyway,
I
know it hurt them. They watched that Porto game. They spent over the course of 2 legs probably 3 to 4 hours of their life hate watching us just to watch us advance on penalties. Yeah, hold that, buddy. Hold that. I hope you enjoyed the watch.
I'll tell you what. All you getting lippy at this Tottenham fan. You wait when they beat you lot and it ruins your chances of winning. And that's what's going to happen. They're going to get you.
All right,
Where is the game when you play them?
We're playing at their stadium later this season.
At Spurs ground?
Yeah, we played at the Emirates earlier.
Doesn't have a name, does it?
The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
That's not me. Yeah, but you got you got the Emirates and
it used to be White Hart Lane.
It was White Hart Lane, yeah.
But now I think it's just the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is the official name. It looks like a
weird
toilet
actually,
bowl.
because I thought they would have sold their name, because you can get a lot of money.
You can get a ton of money. I know Barcelona were selling everything they possibly can.
I'm going to get in touch for next week. The Londoners.
You want to put your name on a team that shit? You want to associate Londoner with a team that shit?
They haven't let me finish. Yeah. We call it the Londoner Stadium, but they're only allowed to use the name when it's NFL teams are playing there.
Oh, so when they are an NFL ground.
Yeah. I'll get it cheaper that way.
That's a great deal. All right, we do. Have
you ever been arrested? Handcuffs?
My mother watches these. Once, yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Underage at a bar. I got caught once.
I was talking because I've had. Yeah. Actually, in England, it's good. They don't put handcuffs on you.
Really?
We're civilised.
They do in Texas.
We're civilised. All they go, oh, you're next. All right, officer. And you fucking follow him. You hold his hand. I don't know what you do.
I got caught underage at a bar once, and I got the cuffs. Yeah. I did weasel my way. I talked my way out of it.
I could have been a centre forward for any team in the world, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
I know how to keep calm.
Do you?
Keep my cool. Yes, I do.
Really?
And I've told you, years ago, the first pub I had in Addison, we moved it to where it is now, but it was on Beltline Road.
Oh, yeah.
Used to be a Chili's.
Yeah.
Years ago.
I know Beltline. I take that exit last night.
Okay, so it's there. So it's down a little bit of the hill. It's behind a building. Yeah. It's not a great location. So it's for lease. I wanted to move up to Addison. Yeah. So I've gone to have a look at it, and I used to drive this Jeep. So I've arranged to meet the realtor at the premises. So I drive up in my Jeep in the parking lot. I go inside the building. I didn't know. The police followed me in. They ran a thing on my number plate, and I had a warrant out for my arrest. It was for a hot check.
Yeah.
I'd only just moved here, and I knew I'd written a hot check. In England, you used to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Over here, it's cardinal sin. I wrote this hot check, so I've got a warrant out for my arrest, but I didn't know. So I go and view the property with the agent. She said, right, if you'd like to go outside, I'll lock the doors, and I'll come outside and see you then. So I'll go outside. Before you know it, I'm in handcuffs against the car.
Good Lord.
Bit embarrassing, I must admit.
Happens,
anyway, so
there.
she comes out, she locks the door, she turns around, I'm in handcuffs. This is why I can be a centre forward, 'cause I'm calm as fuck. She looked at me, I went, I'll call you Monday. And I got the premises. That's how bad a location it is.
Yeah, we'll move on.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get back to you. Doing something right now, but let me get back to you.
That is keeping you cool.
That is composure
Centre
personified.
forward, Barry
Right
rotate.
in front of the goal.
Barry
No
rotate
nerves.
centre.
Penalty spot to win the Champions League. He's got it.
Oh no, just call me in.
All right, we do have a great interview with Paul coming up, so I want to move on to that. Today we are joined with Aston Villa supporter Paul Limpitlaw. Paul, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. I'm more than happy to have you on. And let's start where we always start, Barry. Paul, how about you tell us a little bit how you got into Aston Villa, became a fan, your journey with them a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Well, it was quite a long time ago. I didn't actually choose Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa chose me. My father, my grandfather were Villa fans, so I think my first game was Millwall 1973 at Villa Park.
Okay.
So it was a long time ago, and was a season ticket holder in the Holt End until in my mid-20s, and then in my later 20s I decided that I was going to emigrate and come and live in the US. That was in 1998, and started off in Minneapolis, and then Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, and then New York. And then when we got to New York, I finally found some other Villa fans.
You know, if you pay your rent, they let you stay in these places. You have to keep fucking moving.
Yeah, Interpol have told me that. But anyway, I just thought I'd better keep moving around. So anyway, we found the New York Lions that was just starting up in, I think that was 2006, 2007. And I don't know whether you've ever been to New York, but one of the big football pubs there was the Nevada Smiths. Mm-hmm. It's now the Football Factory. So I know a few Villa fans there, and yeah, just every weekend, you know, I was finally able to find a bunch of other Villa fans and go watch the games together.
Yeah, all right. And then can you talk about how you kind of came across the Londoner and this gentleman right here?
Yeah, if I have to, I will. But
sorry, I know.
Yeah. He didn't come in with that shirt to begin with because I would not have let him in.
Yeah, it's true.
A fucking suit and tie. He one of them sneaky little fucking things came in.
Paul did arrive before Barry, so we let him in the bar before Barry saw that he was wearing a Villa shirt today.
Yeah, and there were, the taps were closed, so there was no fear of Barry losing any money, but he never does anyway, so because he never buys anyone a beer. But anyway, I think it was 2014, Barry.
I can't remember really.
And in that time, Aston Villa were doing a tour of the US. They come here and played a friendly against FC Dallas, and we also played a couple of friendly games. I think the Aston Villa Supporters Club, Lions Club, played the Dallas Supporters Club, and then we went on down to Houston and also played a game down there. Stephen Hendry from Villa, an older player, he also came, and I think Barry and I met in the London. That was 2014, and I'd mentioned I'd been to the London in the Collierville, but it wasn't open in the morning. On a Saturday morning, so he said, "Yeah, here's my card, here's the number. Next time you want to go, give me a call, and we'll open it up for you." So the next Saturday, I think I gave him a call.
So I remember we'd have it on one telly, and there'd be about 10 of them all listening to one telly. But
Yeah.
we've gotten there now.
And I think that was at the old
I can't honestly.
in Collierville, so before you moved. So and then during COVID, obviously everyone was sort of in a real bad frame of mind, and football was a great excuse for us, and I'm pleased to say that Barry opened up for us when we were legally allowed to, and though there weren't many people in the pub, all the Villa fans were there, and we were very grateful that we're able to go watch the games all together.
All the groups are good groups. I really mean it when they're there, because you know yourself, when you're there now, we've started getting a lot of the Arsenal, because you fuckers all come out the woodwork when you're winning. When you're losing, you didn't see them years ago.
What did I do, man? What did I do?
I'm telling you, they're all coming out the woodwork because they all want to be a winning, And next season or season after, when you can't win, you'll all fucking put sky blue on or something like that.
Oh man,
Where do you always wear this colour shirt.
You really want us to start losing, don't you? You're gonna hate this Arteta reign. We're only getting better.
Well, we don't mind the Arsenal fans so much. It's the Man City fans we can't really.
The reason we put the guests in the middle was to stop me headbutting him. That's the
It's
only
true.
reason.
I literally just show up and Barry's just like ready to fight me. I'm just like, all right, dude, I'm just trying to record over here. Good night. But yeah, so the Villa fan, can you talk a little bit more about the Villa fan group and the group you're a part of and how that all came to fruition and more of what you guys do?
Yeah. So Aston Villa have a Lions supporters club, very much like a lot of the Premier Football teams. And I think right now we have 41 members, or should say 41 chapters throughout the US.
Oh, wow.
Actually, the US and Canada, so there's 41, obviously the one here in Dallas. And one of the things we've been doing now for the last 10 years is we have a get-together once a year, and we pick a particular city, and then all of or a good chunk of the North American Villa Lions sort of take over that town, and or one of the pubs, and then we normally air one of the games, so there's only a couple of 200 of us. Or more, and in fact this next month in I think it's the 11th, 12th, 13th of April, it's going to be in Scottsdale, Arizona. Yeah. So it's a great way to bring people together, and obviously all supporting Aston Villa. But I think the other opportunity that it presents is to bring in a lot of the US fans. I mean, a lot of the US. I'm very proud of the fact that we've managed to get a lot of US fans to want to support Aston Villa. Obviously, a lot of people that don't know too much about football.
Yeah, you can kind of trick them into supporting Villa.
Yeah,
right?
we do. Like there's two barmen at Barry's pub in Collierville. Adam and Shane. I bought
former
them both.
bartenders. We're firing them.
I bought them both a Villa top, and they become Villa fans.
So you're just slowly recruiting as many.
They have to bribe people, give them free stuff to support them.
But Shane had never been to the UK, and the last game of the season he flew over to England on his own, and he went to the Brighton game. He bought it. He didn't have a ticket. He bought a ticket at the ground.
Scalped it, yeah.
But he just sort of got into it, and as I say, there's a lot of new supporters.
Actually, Shane told me he was in a pub because he went there. He went to Villa. Yeah. How would you go all the way over there, spend all that money, and not make sure you got a fucking ticket? That's what my bartenders are like. Thick as two fucking planks. Yeah. Anyway, so he's gone over there, and he was in a bar there. Then he told them, I'm a Villa, I'm from Dallas, Texas, this, that, and that. And one of the fellas in the pub said, look, hey, have my ticket. And he gave him his ticket, actually, so he can get in the ground.
That's beautiful.
So you come all this way, and he gave him the ticket.
Do you feel that camaraderie in the fan groups here in the U.S. of just like, look, and you mentioned it yourself, you're always recruiting, trying to get people in Villa. And it's so cool to see that overseas they're doing the same thing. They're like, hey, man, you came all the way over here. You're a part of us. We're family.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And even when we go over, of course, Villa's having a little bit of more success now, so it's a bit more difficult to get...
I saw you roll your eyes there, Barry. I saw you roll your eyes on that statement right there.
Top forward, so...
But it sounded like that fella did a good deed. Yeah. Oh, he's giving him a ticket. Well, thank fuck, I don't have to go and watch that shit today. I'll give it to that yank.
I've seen enough.
Exactly. It's not.
But it's like that. And as I say, because we're having a little bit of success now, it's difficult to get tickets. So we've got a lot of friends who've got season tickets, and we're able to get tickets through the club, or obviously through friends that have got.
So you work directly with the club to get people over there to see the team more.
Exactly. No, especially if it's their first game. We've got Hank. He's going over with his wife to watch the Chelsea game. In fact, 4 of us from the Collierville pub are going over to the Chelsea game. So it's great. They've picked a team
that's to see them lose.
Well, you never know. Hopefully we'll get a result. But they're not picking. No disrespect, Arsenal or Man City, Man United, Chelsea, the big clubs that have got had a lot of recent success. So they're not just jumping on the bandwagon.
You don't have to put Chelsea in that. You don't have to put Chelsea in that category. It's okay. You're very polite for Barry for you, but you don't put Chelsea in the recent success category. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm only talking about teams in the top 10.
That two-faced piece of shit there, okay?
Yeah.
He's predicted Tottenham.
I did.
He's 4th.
I did. I'll stand on it.
Who did I pick?
You picked Villa.
Thank you.
I'll stand on it. I think that Tottenham finished 4th this year, and
it's going to be
I think it's going to be a great race. Yeah. I just think that
you didn't help yourself the other week when you let the fuckers beat you, did you?
Yeah, and then Fulham do us a favour.
And then Fulham do that, but then you could have extended it, but then you tie West Ham.
Yeah.
So it really is all over the shop.
This time of the year, you can't predict any score, can you?
I mean, normally with Chelsea plays, it's pretty easy to predict a 0, but
and we haven't got the big squads like the top 3, top 4.
No, the depth isn't there, but it is the starting 11 for y'all. I want to talk about a little bit more this season. Let's talk about Ollie Watkins for a minute, man, because he might be having the best season of any
Yeah.
striker in the Premier League. He has the
Yeah.
most. I think he has the most goal contributions and goals and assists for a forward
in Europe,
league.
I believe.
In
Yeah,
Europe, actually, yeah.
yeah.
So, and then you look around the squad. Diaby's really coming into his own. I've been a huge Douglas Luiz fan for a minute.
Yeah, he's
we
solid. Very
we
solid.
wanted him a couple of years ago.
How much did he cost?
I think it was 15,000 from Man City. 15 million, sorry, from Man City.
That's a bargain and a half, brother. Good
That's
lord.
a day salary, but yeah,
That's not even his wages.
I'll cost
yeah.
more than that. 15 grand.
And he was only a young player, and I think they decided to get rid of him, and he's come great. We just I don't know whether you know, but England played Brazil in a friendly on Saturday, and we had 3 Villa players on the pitch. So
I know, I thought that was
Douglas
crazy.
Luiz and also Ezri Konsa made his England
I saw that
debut.
Konsa got a call up
So,
too. I
yeah,
thought that was
it's
good for
thoroughly
him.
deserved.
That was the bargain of the century.
Yeah.
Nicking that goalkeeper, but then fucking gave him away.
Nicking 30 million's
That's
giving
nothing.
away.
I thought it was 20 million, but
I thought
still.
it was 30, but still. Either way,
Yeah.
I don't think. And again, like, okay, you can slander us all you want. I like our goalkeeper situation. I don't think we're in a bad situation. I think that we used the money well. And
I'm not saying don't sell him.
yeah.
You could have charged more. Not that, not because they're cheap, but you could have charged
Unfortunately,
more.
I don't run Arsenal's finances. I would have loved to get more money for the
I think
club.
they'll get more than 20 million if they sold him now.
Yeah.
but,
I don't know. He's
hopefully we could
33.
Oh, is he
33.
really?
He's over 30s.
Yeah,
he's in his 30s.
Yeah, but
so-
goalkeepers can't go on.
Yeah, and
there,
I was
can
watching
they?
Ochoa was like 38, and he was playing in the
Yeah.
final last night for Mexico. So no, goalkeeper shelf
Yeah, I
life.
like
And
that,
Neuer
too.
as well,
Yeah.
another one. Buffon played till his 40s.
So when you started watching them, who were the players you
players?
admired? Yeah, who were your heroes?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them, and obviously, people. It's very subjective. Probably my first memory of a player at Villa was Charlie Aitken, who at the time, well, I think just when he was retired, I think he's played the most games for Villa. He's played over 550 games.
Wow.
So he's a real legend. But
What position was he?
He was a defender, but I would say more in the modern time. Sort of growing up. Gary Shaw, Gordon Cowans. You mentioned Paul McGrath, God as he is. Who we got from Manchester United. Andy Gray, probably one of my all-time favourites.
Yeah,
he scored a lot of goals. He was
He was a job, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He was the young player and player of the year for Villa, and I think he scored 50 odd goals in not that many games. And even now, like Gabby Agbon.
Oh, Agbon Lahore.
Yeah,
God, what a
That's
legend.
a fucker of a name to say.
Yeah,
My dad is
Agbon
retired.
Lahore. Yeah. No, my friends and I, when I was growing up,
Yeah,
we'd play FIFA and stuff. We would call him I Banged a Whore. That was his
Yeah,
nickname for
honestly.
me and my friends.
And he'd always score goals for us, and especially against the scum. I mean Birmingham, when we were in the.
He talks about Birmingham like we talk about Tottenham. I love
That's
it.
another
Championship.
thing. So these wankers, and I'll call them wankers to his face, wankers, okay?
Yeah,
no, thank you
They're
for clearing
coming
that
in
up.
there because years ago you go, well, I'm an Aston Villa fan. Where's Aston Villa? It's in Birmingham, and all the Americans go Birmingham, Alabama. But now, because of peaky fucking blinders, they all think they're fucking big shots, don't they? And they're all there, Birmingham, peaky blinders, peaky blinders.
everyone
Now
knows
when a goal
everything.
goes in, okay,
Peaky
one of them
blinders.
Yeah.
When a goal goes in, what do they say? By order of the peaky blinders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
that's it.
actor on
And
that
nobody
show.
knew where the
Yeah.
fuck it was until that.
Yeah.
Well, all the Birmingham fans think they're the Peaky Blinders,
Yeah, I know they do. I'm
What
sure.
What are the Birmingham fans to you?
Well, I mean, they're our arch enemy basically. As they are the scum. They play at the Stye, which quite literally looks like one. It's falling down. There's not a team that I hate more in the world than Birmingham
Yeah, but
City.
you've got your top quarterback just bought into him, didn't he? What's the name
Oh,
from
yeah.
New England?
Who?
Yeah,
New England used to be their quarterback. Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Oh yeah,
He
he
bought
bought
him.
part of their club. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought. Sorry, I was lost where you're going with that one.
Yeah, so hopefully they get
Does he know this?
relegated. So
Do you think he knew they were scum before he bought them?
I would imagine so. He seems
you
that
do-
kind of a fella.
Yeah, trust me. I think everyone that's not a Patriots fan in America has beef with Tom Brady to some extent. To some extent, everyone he's burned everyone's football team at some point in his career.
Well, that's
everyone
what it is. It's like me. I hate Man United because when you're successful, unless it's your team, everybody else hates you.
Everyone
Brady,
hates you.
Yeah.
Everybody but New England can't stand
Exactly,
the club.
exactly.
Even Giselle.
Yeah. So
Yeah, well, yeah, they did break up. Yeah, very with the pop culture reference. I love that.
But we're talking about Gabby. He scored.
Yeah.
I think in modern day Villa's history, I think he's the top scorer with 76 goals, but something like 350 something games. Whereas
Yeah.
you mentioned Ollie Watkins, I think he
wow.
scored 52, 53 goals, and he's only played 110 games.
Yeah.
So I think for sure he's going to overtake Gabby in the modern.
Yeah,
era
if
in terms
you
of-
keep
Years ago, in what I call their heyday, and I know it before that they've had heydays before, when they were in Europe,
Yeah.
Was it Champions League then, or was it called something else?
It was the European Cup. Then,
Okay,
yeah,
but did they win it? Or?
Yes, we won it in 1981. I was there.
You weren't going to
I was
mention that, were you? 'Cause you
15
don't
years
want to
old.
mention that, do you?
And believe it or not, we won it with 14 players.
Wow.
And I think
No, it means on the pitch at the same time.
10 of them English,
No wonder.
four of them
No wonder.
Scottish. So
It was super easy.
Yeah.
you know, just look how the Premiership changed. And I know you're a big Arsenal fan. I think at one point Arsenal might have been the first team to field an 11 without an English player.
It was. Arsenal was the first,
So-
and that's partially why I think. I think some referees don't like Arsenal, and some people don't
Yeah.
like Arsenal because they were the first. Wenger specifically was the first one to come in and kind of deviate away from that.
Well,
everyone's English, and he was bringing in his French players, his Vieiras, his Petits, and it was a new style, a new concept that fans in England weren't used to. They're so used to seeing our English players only in the English league, and Wenger was very big in. No, we can bring in whoever we want and really build that team.
When
that
you
we
lot
see
won
now.
the champion, European champion, who was your manager in them years?
Well, it was Ron Saunders, and then of course he then actually got fired, and then it was Tony Barton who actually took over the following year when we. So Ron Saunders won the league in '81, and then it was Tony Barton who was the manager when we won the European Cup, and then the following year we won the European Super Cup where we played Barcelona, which probably to this day is probably one of my best memories at Villa Park.
Yeah.
We lost at Barcelona in the first leg 1-0, and I think it was Gary Shaw scored in the 80th minute to take it to extra time, and then we scored two more in extra time, and we won 3-0 on the day, and obviously won the Super Cup. We won the European Super Cup. So, but yeah, just a great
you won
atmosphere.
fuck all since.
Yeah. Well, actually, you're not far. I think this century we won the Intertoto in 2001. We won the League Cup in 2024. I think we beat Man United, and then we beat. I think the last one actually was 2006, and that was Leeds United beat them 3-0. So the trophy cupboard's been a little bit barren for a while, but things are looking up.
Tottenham's.
It's looking up. We got great ownership. I think now with the two owners that we have, billionaires, they've really put a lot of thought and quality into the club. I think we have a very great manager in Unai Emery. I know he didn't have a great time at Arsenal.
I just think that he has a certain ceiling.
Yeah. How long was he at Arsenal? Can you remember?
Just a couple of years. I think it was 2 years.
That's it. You don't give people time.
Yeah. We don't give people time.
They've given him time.
We don't give people time. How long do we have Wenger before Emery? 20 plus years. How long do we have Mikel? We've had Mikel for 3 years. Again, I can't believe a Chelsea fan is coming on here telling me that we don't give managers time.
We give them
Are you taking the piss? Are we having a laugh right now? Seriously, a Chelsea fan coming to an Arsenal fan telling me that we don't give managers time.
That's true.
You've sacked more managers.
Don't give shit. I can invite you on here. Okay?
He's right.
I'll give you a free glass of water and you sign with him.
Glass of water.
A free
glass of water.
Yeah.
He is spot on. Don't even give me that as a Chelsea fan.
I'll just go back to Unai Emery because, as I say, I think Villa is very happy with him. I think he's a very polite, very conscientious manager, and he had some success. He's won I think 11 trophies in the last.
He's a European specialist. He's won that a few times, so you've got.
It was the UEFA. He won 3 times with Sevilla. He won with Villarreal. He won, I think, 7 trophies with PSG. He won the Championship. He won the French Cup, the League Cup, the Super Cup. So, he's had some success and he knows what he's doing. And as you said, he's been given time. And I think he's added to the squad. He's complemented what we had when Gerrard got fired. And I think the future's bright. Not only that, as I say, we've got a good background staff. We've got a fantastic state-of-the-art training facility up at Bodymoor Heath, which is just northwest of Birmingham or of Aston. So, I think we're in good stead, and if we can keep this run up and maybe pinch that last European spot, then I think things are looking up for the club.
Do you know, but with the run up the last few games, is your schedule? They're hard. Is your schedule harder than Spurs? Can you see? Or?
I think we were rated like the second worst.
Spurs still have to play, and I mean in a row.
Arsenal,
they have
Chelsea.
Newcastle, Newcastle, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City. That's a 4 weeks.
You're coming fourth.
Yeah, that's a 4 week. But the big thing for that is obviously Spurs are facing the 3 title challengers, Arsenal, Liverpool, and City, and the joke is they're taking someone with them. Like one of those clubs they're taking with them.
Yeah.
So
when Emery came on board, you just sold Jack Grealish, or was that the year before?
We'd already sold it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that also helped us.
How did you feel about that when you must have thought, bollocks?
Yeah, I mean, he was a great player.
He was Villa through and through.
Once you hear the news...
He was an absolute Villa player through and
fan,
through.
and fan.
Yeah. But I think, at the time, we really needed the money, and 100 million is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And we bought some,
Chelsea.
We bought some quality players. So I think the time was right, and I think everyone thought, it's inevitable that he's going to go.
Mm-hmm. Just like Harry Kane with Spurs, same thing.
And we weren't quite ready to be able to be pushing up there as we are now.
And he wanted to be on a team that was fighting for the top, and you can't blame the player for that. You only get one career, right?
It's a short career. He's probably only got.
Oh no! Once a player's given their all to you, good. Like Harry Kane, he's going to know one.
Yeah, you can't. I have Spurs fans and friends that still support Harry Kane at Bayern. They're like, they'll watch it like, I hope Bayern win, which is hilarious that they're probably not going to win the Bundesliga this year of all years, right? But
he might come back, like Gordon Cowans came back, and Andy Gray came back.
The way that Pep rotates players in and out,
the good thing about Grealish being sold, I don't have to listen at 8 o'clock in the morning. Super Jack, fuck's sake.
We'll think of something else then.
I'm sure. Y'all guys, Super Ollie at this point. Good Lord.
Yeah.
But
Watkins on fire.
Yeah, he is, honestly, man. He
couldn't have cost much, could he? I know
he was bought from Brentford. Funny enough, he's an Arsenal fan, wasn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is an Arsenal fan.
I've called you. Who isn't, for fuck's sake?
Because he said it himself, actually, because I do my research and know stuff like that.
He's a big Arsenal fan, and I think it cost about 26 million, 28 million.
Oh my God, he's quite.
And there's another like 3 or 4 millions with add-ons.
See, your derby games nowadays, it's Wolves. It's the only one there, isn't it? Really, no one else is.
No, that's right. In the Prem, it would really be obviously Birmingham's our big rival, West Bromwich Albion,
Leicester maybe.
Wolves, Leicester to a degree, but Birmingham really is our biggest rivalry. But they're the easiest team to beat, and
they're not even on your level at this point.
Literally, the way they're going, they're 1 point off relegation.
Are they really?
So they're.
Are you like sitting there like hoping that they go down?
Oh, absolutely. That will be the second biggest party at Barry's pub if they go down. That's for sure.
How about this? Would you rather Birmingham get relegated or Villa finish top 4?
Oh no, I think I really want Villa to finish top 4.
Top 4 over that.
Can I have both?
In a perfect world, right? In a perfect world.
I think you'll get the 4th spot. I've been to Birmingham's ground and I've been to Aston Villa's ground. I never used to go away ground, but Birmingham was Chelsea were playing Birmingham, but Villa, I watched Chelsea in the semi-finals of the FA Cup, but that's where they used to play. Villa was one of the grounds. Yeah, now they do it at Wembley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of the bigger grounds in the middle of the country, if you like.
Oh, yeah.
So it was always
a great ground.
It was always
the
FA Cup, and I think obviously when we've had the European Championship and the last World Cup was Villa.
Must be horrible when you've got a ground. Okay, the semi-finals of the FA Cup are at your ground, and your fucking team are never in it. That's horrible, isn't it? Eh?
Yeah, it is. But it's a cheap day out, isn't it?
I'm glad you came on.
Yeah.
No. So let's go back to this season. Obviously, right now you're 3 points clear of Spurs. Spurs have that game in hand,
which is against Chelsea, I think.
Yeah, it actually is against Chelsea, isn't it? So, how confident are you in not only finishing top 4 but also Conference League? And I'll say this: I think that the teams remaining in each level of Europe is some of the strongest we've seen in years. Like you look at the last 8 of Champions League, it's like. For those that play FIFA, it's like a FIFA display menu. Those are the teams that you get to pick when you start the game, right? Yeah. And then you look at even Europa League right now and the quality that's in there, and Conference League, it looks getting stronger and stronger. How confident are you that you can compete on both fronts with the squad you have to a high level?
Yeah, that's the trick. And I mean, Matty Cash has just played for Poland.
I'm Polish, so I love Matty Cash.
Well, he got injured on Saturday, so he's out for 3 weeks. So that's another concern. But yeah, we've got Lille in the quarterfinal. Not
an easy game. No, they got a lot of talent with Euro, the center back. Everyone's looking at Real Madrid's all over him too.
So I think we play them at home first and then away.
Mm-hmm. Do you prefer that having the first leg?
I would prefer it the other way around. So you know what you've got to do at home.
I love that too. Yeah.
I wasn't listening. I was thinking of the next word.
Lille.
Oh, okay.
And then I think looking at the.
Is that where Azar came from originally?
Originally, yes. He actually just got the training, which is so funny because sorry, I'm jumping in here.
No worries.
Hazard known for not training well, not training seriously, and if you listen to his old teammates' reviews, they'll tell him he took the piss, would go around and fuck about in training and then get on game day and you can't play them. And Lille, just to honor Hazard for retiring, named one of their training facilities after him. And someone's like,
really?
of all people, the man who hates training and
just
never takes seriously, you named the training ground after him, right?
Yeah,
but anyway, sorry, so we can go back to...
No, I mean, the Lille game, they'll all be tough games. And I think if looking at the draw, I think we'll either end up playing in Greece or Turkey after that. Although the final is on the 30th of May, and I've already booked my hotel.
Have you really?
In Athens.
That's confident.
So
That's
I
confidence.
did that in
that
December.
Is swagger and
That's
confidence.
not confidence. He was going, fuck it, I'll have a holiday.
Yeah, that's
If
confidence.
I'm lucky, then I'll be there.
You
If they're not,
you
who
can't.
cares?
You're just mad you can't book anything because Chelsea's not in Europe.
But you're right. I think one of the challenges is there is so many games, and we've already got a few depleted.
And then you throw in the international break, like you mentioned, with Cash getting injured, and I saw throughout the tournament here in Dallas, like more players just going off injured, and it really could hurt the squad depth. And you saw too this international break, more players that were in serious races being called out by their clubs, like, oh, his foot hurts a little bit, get him out, get him out. So I think that we're seeing a movement of these international friendlies being less important. Yeah. And I think that clubs and countries alike are starting to recognize, like, okay, if they're in a serious race, it's okay to pull them out and then focus on club friendlies.
Or you do what the Arsenal player does, like Ben White.
Yeah, no, okay, that's a different. Ben White's a different
I don't
story.
want to play.
He's had a serious falling out. So
him and the coach have a serious row, and
I don't think as you probably aware, Gareth Southgate is not the most popular England manager.
I wanted to talk about that because obviously I know
he was actually in the Villa team when we won the League Cup. He was a defender for Villa. He was a captain, I think, for Villa for a while. But as a manager, I think a lot of people have been disappointed, especially in this style
I will
of
say
play.
this. I'm amazed that Southgate can neutralize how talented England's attack is as effectively as he does, because he makes the England's attack look shit. Yeah. And then they go to their clubs and it's some of the most talented players in the world. Do you think he's still the right? And this is to you as well, Barry, because obviously I know you're a big England supporter. Do y'all think Southgate is the man to continue with England? Like going into this summer?
Whenever England pick a manager, it's never what the fans want, is it? Never is. I mean, they pick the one that's right and he knows that.
I think he's won four of his 25 games against top 10 countries in the world. He's won 4 of 25. Yeah. And you think about these big tournaments.
Who would you have as a manager if not him? It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't think it would be an English manager. Maybe. I mean, they talked about Sean Dyche.
I love Sean Dyche.
But then there's the Newcastle manager.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of rumors. I think Eddie Howe would be a perfect. I think Eddie Howe should be the next. If they're trying to stick with an English manager, I think Eddie Howe is the cream of the crop.
But as you said, looking back at the last World Cup, probably that's in my life and about my lifetime, Barry, I don't know what you think. That's probably the most talented England squad we've ever had.
I think it's only getting better too, because now you look at who else, like Ollie Watkins coming in his own, Saka's growing up, Foden's growing up, and Kobe Mino from Man United getting into the squad. He's brilliant, young talent.
Well, if that second penalty went in, who knows what would happen?
You're talking about Kane against France?
You can't.
Are you talking about the game against France in the Euros?
Yeah,
his second one. And the crazy thing is that was against his club teammate at the time,
Lloris. So it's like everybody's saying that. I said the same thing. He's already taken one against a goalkeeper.
I think they should have given it to someone else.
If you'd have scored, no one would have said that. But I get it. I think the same.
And if he scores, he's a genius. And Kane's penalty record, you would never not put him on it.
And apparently the ball's not even come down yet. So
it's still in orbit right now. I love it. I feel bad. Like every week, I'm like, we won't batter Tottenham.
In a few weeks' time, whenever that eclipses, it's not the fucking.
That's the soccer ball slowly crossing.
Harry's in town.
I'll tell you one of the things about the Villa lot. When they were in the pub and they were watching the game. And you know who it was against, when they had to win to stay in the EPL. And I'm watching that, and they're all nervous, and they're all doing it. And when it finished in that, I mean, I'm obviously not a Villa fan, but it's really good because I know that was my team.
Oh, that's
and
relief.
You see them there, and they go, I'm telling you.
I think there was more beer on the floor, Barry, than there was.
And the good thing about it, I was fucking charging them more for beer that day. They didn't even look at their fucking tab. Paid it without an eye. And they always argue.
When you're that happy, it's just
they
flowing.
always argue. I'm fucking putting beers on there. Fuck them. There we go.
He did try and give us a Bud Light a few weeks ago, but we refused it. So,
when it was all Bud Light.
Oh yeah.
I gave them all a bottle of Bud Light, and I put a new label on it. And what was it?
I don't think you should mention what was on the label.
No, I'm going to if I can remember it. Queer beer.
Queer beer.
I put a label over Bud Light. It was when that thing
Yeah,
was
yeah,
going
yeah.
on, and they
Yeah.
all got a bottle of queer beer, and they
Yeah.
wouldn't drink it.
Yeah, we
Jeez.
sticking to the style of it.
It's crazy you mentioned that. I talked about this with you off pod, but we talked about that VAR decision that kept Villa in the Premier zone.
That's
and
right.
how like I mentioned as you were walking in the butterfly effect from that. For those that don't remember, this is probably 3-4 years ago, I believe. And Villa were right there neck and neck with Sheffield and another club for that relegation spot. And Villa conceded a goal to Sheffield, I believe. The goalkeeper, the backup, caught the ball, fell into the side net, like behind the post in the net, and VAR and Hawkeye, who were doing the VAR technology, completely messed it up, ruined it. They said that the ball did not cross the line, and the goalie is literally in the net, and it didn't stand. Villa end up winning the game 1-0, keeping them alive in the Premier League. They get to keep Jack Grealish instead of having to sell him.
Yeah.
That butterfly effect, as a fan, how was that
That's
for
amazing.
you?
As you said it, I saw it. He was 16 inches over the line. Easily.
Oh, he was in the net.
He was in
the net. It was a monumental mess
It's
up.
funny as you say how these things happen. Then I think it was that following season when we were in the playoffs with Fulham, we lost 1-0. Again, I think if we'd have won that game and gone up, we'd have been straight back down.
Exactly.
So I think that extra year, not beating Fulham and staying in the Championship, and then winning in the Championship, we actually went 4 or 5 of us from Dallas went over to the final to
awesome.
Wembley.
How was that?
Saw the final against Derby, and that was fantastic. It was hard watch the last 10 minutes, when we're winning 2-1.
Oh, any game where you're... Trust me, I don't think I took a breath during Arsenal's Champions League extra time against Porto.
Were you 2-0 up at any time, or was it 1-1, 2-1?
It was 2-0, then it was 2-1.
That's horrible. When you're 2-0 up,
2-0,
and
yeah.
they get that goal... For some reason, I don't care who... Because
2-0
2-0
is the
you
most
shouldn't
dangerous
do,
league.
but there's a part of you just taking it a bit easy maybe, or think we've got this, and then they score that goal, and then you shit yourself.
It's more so like
Panic
once you get to
stations.
2-0, it's like, okay, we don't need to score, we need to defend, but when you then need to just defend a lead, you open yourself up to all this pressure and whatnot. I remember getting so frustrated watching Arsenal back in the day, specifically under Unai actually. We would have a lead, or we'd be chasing a game and he just wouldn't tactically manage it well, and being so frustrated, like, why are we inviting all the... I remember we played Watford. That was the game that I was so finished with. Then we faced, I think, 30-plus shots, and we ended up drawing the game 2-2. And after the game, he comes out, and he's like, tactically, it worked how we wanted it. And I was like, get the fuck out of my club. Like, get the fuck out of my club. That was the worst watch of my life. They did.
But that day, fantastic. We obviously had a few bevies the following night, and the next morning we're leaving from Heathrow. We're all in a bad shape. There's 4 or 5 of us. Actually, I think there's 6 of us, and we're about to board the plane. And as you may know, when you leave England to get back on the flight, American Airlines, whoever the airline, have their own security. So they're asking you specific questions. Where did you stay? Where did you pack your bag? Where have you been? Why you were here? So we were asking. I was first in line, and they said, "Well, where were you?" And we went to a football match. Who played? Aston Villa and Derby. What was the score? 2-1. And then the security man, this is right, we're about to board, said, well, who scored? And about 25 people behind me went, ain't nobody like El Ghazi. And he's like looking at us, get on, will you?
Love that. I love the camaraderie the sport brings.
So
when you were growing up in Birmingham and you played football yourself, what was it like with some? I mean, I've talked about the coaches being, taxi drivers and stuff like that. We probably have the same thing.
Yeah.
What are the coaches like? Because I remember I had a coach, and you'd be surprised. Years ago, it was, especially I was midfield defender. Get stuck in. It was all about getting stuck in. There was nothing about tactics, and it was how hard you tackled. I remember one coach. I remember him screaming at me, and I said, tackle him, not fucking tickle him.
Yeah.
And I was fucking 12 or 13.
I had a coach too, and Scott Lambert. He was my favorite coach I've ever had, Lambo. And I remember if we got like a yellow card or something, and like it wasn't a proper foul, he would leave like, if you're gonna get a yellow card, at least fucking hit him, man. At least get the yellow card. Don't go over there and hit him with your purse and get a yellow for just doing that. Like, get in there a little bit,
If you had that, then just
I would say but thinking about it, and I think that's why we didn't have that success. You look at all the continental teams in Europe, they're teaching passing and skill and more intricate play. Whereas I think in UK we were much more defensive.
Until
and as Barry
we got all the
said,
Italians
get stuck in there,
coming over.
like
The way that
the knobby styles of the world.
Yeah.
He's like
But
hard as nails.
England, it was all about being fit,
Being
and
tough,
tackling
getting in
hard
there.
and giving it
No,
all that.
it's funny the way
and
I
then
see
the
it.
Continentals came in and
The way I
they
see it now is
taught
there's
us.
the Pep Guardiola football of pass, move, pass. No one gets touched. And then there's Sean Dyche ball. Hoof it, boys. Have some fun. All right, go get them. Right. And I love the different styles because both can work.
Yeah.
To pick two teams to watch, so okay, you got Villa and you got Spurs, both got fairly new
They're right there.
managers.
Yeah.
At the moment, I've got the Spurs manager as manager of the season. I know you're going to pick your bloke and you're going to pick
I'm
your
not.
bloke.
I wasn't
Only
gonna pick
because
my bloke.
they lost their best players. They completely changed how they used to. But I don't mind watching them now. Before, I'd rather take a shit than
No,
watch them.
Spurs played much more attacking football. Villa under Emery. Emery had a quote when he joined Arsenal: "I'd rather win 5-4 than 1-0." Right, so he's about going for the game, which is crazy.
He's only ever had one draw.
Yeah,
in the
it's
league.
ridiculous
Yeah,
how many
yeah.
games he ends up winning or losing because
Yeah.
he's not afraid to. But although I don't think his subs are the best, at Arsenal what frustrated me with him was we'd be chasing a game down 1-0 and he'd bring on like our defensive midfielder and I'm like, well, what the fuck are we doing then?
Yeah.
So
I would say what he has done this year is whenever he's brought on subs, they've made a difference. They've made an impact. In every game, we've either been losing or drawing, and they've come on and obviously got us a goal.
Made an impact in a positive way. Because
I've seen it both ways. I'll stand on business for this. Like I said, I think Tottenham finished fourth because I think that they play better attacking football personally. I think they're a little more creative in attack. And although I think that you're both very open in defense, I just give the edge to Tottenham. Although maybe I shouldn't because their schedule is brutal at this point, and I felt really good about my prediction after the game with y'all, but then they spruced it up.
Yeah,
so.
I think if we can get back going again, because we did have a few injuries, and you may remember we beat Man City just before Christmas.
You beat Man City and you beat us.
And they were. We played. I think Arsenal was a tougher game. You know, we had to look a little bit with the win, but I think Man City we actually played them.
I thought you outplayed them.
Yeah,
I watched that game and I was beyond impressed. At that point, I was like, oh my god, Villa are a problem. And then
you got them again up.
Yeah, we've got them coming up now. So
you got to go to the Etihad now. Yeah, so do we.
So yeah,
really?
Yeah, but that's the first game for us back.
We
at
would
the end of this
have
month.
knocked them out the FA Cup by then, so that's all they've got to play.
Oh well, yeah. I'm about to say, don't worry, we'll come back to this and we'll circle right back because you do play them in the FA Cup.
I think just thinking back on one of my other probably favourite games just before I left the UK, I think it was 1987 when Villa got promoted back to what was the first division then, and last game of the season was at Swindon. I think it was Blackburn was in top spot. We really needed a draw or a win, and there was no way we were going to get a ticket for Swindon game. So one of my friends had a friend living down in Swindon, and he got us 8 tickets. So we thought we'll pitch up to the game, an hour before, and we'll just walk in and we'll sit in the Swindon end. Well, anyway, we did that. We walked in, and just as we got to the gate, this copper said to my mate, he said, "Where are you boys from?" And my mate with the thickest Birmingham accent went, "Oh Lord, we're from Swindon." And he went, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah." He said, "Okay then. Who's the Swindon goalkeeper?" Anyway, I don't know why, but to this day, he knew who it was. It was Fraser Digby. Yeah,
that's brilliant.
So he let us all in, and anyway, we ended up probably 15 minutes in the Swindon end, and then we got escorted out back to the Villa end. But what a great day, and we got the results, and we got promoted. That was the old Graham Taylor's time.
One of the funniest videos I saw this past year last year was Arsenal were playing at Chelsea. And there's a video of like when Arsenal scored at Chelsea and the Chelsea end and all their fans are, giving a stick. And then one kid turns to the camera, goes like this and shows the Arsenal badge and pats it. And he's in the way and he's like, shh, and just like patting the badge, like, let's go.
Because years ago, you couldn't do that.
Because you can't. Because he knew that he went in there with like a jacket over his jersey and like did not want to say words. That's hilarious that y'all had a very similar experience.
Well, and back in those days, of course, they still had the 8-foot fences. So, you were trapped up, you were pushed up against the fence.
Yeah.
They used to have these metal barriers, just like stanchions they call them.
Yeah.
And they were there because with everyone standing up. And I remember once this geezer, he's bending underneath one just to go to the toilet. It was nearly half time, and just as he's bending underneath, Chelsea scored, all the crowd's gone like that. He's crushed his fucking nose against the bar
so
like that.
unsafe.
And they got up, he broke his nose. He's only going for a piss.
Yeah, they just have like a 2-inch iron bar, and then when they score, the whole crowd goes forward, and it was dangerous. I mean, especially when they put the crowds in at the front.
That's
what
a
happened
stampede.
at Hillsborough was
I'm about to say, obviously there's the
Well,
tragedy there.
that's when they stopped.
That's why they stopped.
It was, as much as some of them acted like animals, they also got treated that way, and it was the way they caged them in.
I think actually Villa were at Isabel. I think we were at Hillsborough about the year before. I think before that, and we got up there late. And the thing about Hillsborough is there's like a big gate, and then there's like a big opening. And of course, what everyone does is they go to the pub, have a few beers, and then everyone tries to go to the ground at 2 to 3, just before the kickoff.
Right.
Well, of course, there's only this one opening at the back of the ground, and that's
so you're trying to crowd everybody into
you
one
got
entrance.
pushed forward, and then at the front, obviously, at the right where the pitch is,
Yeah.
you've got this 8-foot iron railing which doesn't move, and everyone was being pushed and swayed into there. So terrible, really. And and at least there was a commission to look at the football grounds, redesign football grounds, have the all-seater stadiums for the most part. But I do miss the old standing.
But some of them are letting them stand up now.
Yeah,
they're bringing out, because it's horrible to sit down and watch. Because
some people stand up anyway.
You do. You've got a seat, and if the geezer in front of you stands up, you've got to stand up.
What are you going to do? So we're going to sit down and not see anything? Right, you got to get up.
Yeah, so that's how football's changed, and I hope there are more grounds that actually start allowing certain standing areas for and also to get more people into the grounds, because it's very difficult now to get tickets, and especially the bigger clubs. It's very expensive. Villa's tickets probably average about £45-50, where I think Arsenal and Man United and Chelsea quite expensive.
How much is a game to go to a game?
It depends on the club.
Roughly, how much is it roughly for a ticket? Not when you sit where you sit.
Oh, you can. For us, we pay about £56, something like that, a Villa. But as I say, I think some of the London clubs, the Manchester clubs, it's over £100.
I'm trying to think, just to compare it to. I looked up tickets last night because I had a bunch of friends that wanted to go to USA Mexico, and tickets for the cheapest were like $90.
Yeah,
and it's just to get in the stadium. That's like ugly seats too. Like you're watching the jumbotron at that price, right?
Yeah, you do. Yeah. When you go there, I don't like that.
You watch the jumbotron a lot.
Yeah.
We do have to wrap up soon, but I do want to touch on the charity that you talked about. If you could speak on the charity that you work with Villa and a little bit more on that.
Yeah, sure. So Aston Villa have been associated with a charity in the Midlands area called Acorns, and this is a registered charity that supports children up until the years of 18 and their families with life-limiting diseases. Obviously, when they're going through a tough time, some of them, will never leave hospital. And one of the things that the North American Lions clubs has done is to have a charity auction every year at the event that we have. And in fact, this last year, I was actually auctioneer. And we raised $26,000 for Acorns.
Wow,
and we were able then to present that at one of the games with a big check at Villa Park, and obviously get a little bit of publicity. We even had Tom Hanks, who
I know. I see him when I'm doing my Villa coverage and I'm working a Villa game. They'll cut to Tom Hanks in the crowd, and I'm like, what am I watching? Where's Tom Hanks out of nowhere?
So he signed a shirt for us last year, and I think he put "Run Forest Run" on it, number 44.
Love that.
And we auctioned that one shirt off for $6,000.
So how can people get involved in that charity, just for our viewers to listen and know? How can they get involved in it? Is it just a Google search? Is there an easier way to find it?
We're supporting it through the Lions Club. So through any of the 41 Aston Villa Lions clubs in North America. If you go on the Aston Villa webpage, you can see where those are around the world, not just in the US as well. And as I say, it's a great cause, and I think everyone really does put a lot of effort into it. Also, this time last year, Gary Shaw came out as well, who was one of our players that won the European Cup in '82. So the club also support us as well, and as I mentioned,
it's incredible. You have a connection with the club.
Yeah, we have a liaison through the club, and they're very helpful. As I mentioned, we're also probably going to do another US tour. We're going to be playing Columbus in Ohio in July, and I think the club's probably going to name another 2 at the two venues. So it's good for the US football. It's good for US Villa fans. A lot of people don't get the chance to travel to England.
It's tough.
It's very expensive. As we just said, some of the ticket prices have got family members.
Well, and then y'all were a part of the Premier League in America tour last year as well. I know that's gone this summer because of the Euros, and the clubs just can't basically put all their teams out there because everyone's gone international. But that is supposed to come back in 2025 when there isn't a summer soccer tournament, basically.
He's gone this whole session. Okay, the whole he's mentioned everybody, even Tom Hanks, except their most famous fan, the future King of England. You haven't given him a fucking mention.
Yes, well, of course, Prince William. He's a big Villa fan, and you'll see him there a few times at Villa Park. And obviously, he's got some personal issues going on at the moment with his family and his father and his wife. But yeah, he chose Aston Villa because it was kind of in the middle of the country. But I've seen him at quite a few games. He was in the middle of the country, and
he don't like to travel.
Well, he obviously does to come up to Villa Park. But, we actually saw him when we were at the playoff final. He was over for that when we played Derby.
I wonder if he's got his kids supporting Villa.
I do love how
I think
that shows football though, because it goes the Prince to anybody can be a supporter of a club, and it's just for everybody. The sport is just for everybody.
Tom Hanks, was he working out in that area, or he working with someone?
As the story goes, I think I've seen the interview. He just said he liked the name. He saw the sport. He said he liked it.
It was something that simple.
What does Villa mean? I mean, you got Chelsea, Chelsea FC, but you got United, and you got whatever, but Luton Town. What does Villa mean?
Well, Aston is a small suburb of Birmingham, a couple of miles from the centre, and I think Villa was a church, and that's his.
Well, that makes sense because you're always praying for the fucking win.
It's a club's great history, 150 years this year. 150
awesome.
years old, so we'll probably be celebrating that, and hopefully we can rebuild the ground, make it a little bit bigger. There's talk that they may move out of Aston. I think that will be a big mistake.
I don't like it.
It's horrible when they do, because
you
offered it, didn't
Arsenal leaving Highbury. There's the famous quote by Arsene Wenger: "Is we left our soul at Highbury," and I think that. Yeah, I'm cheesy as hell here. I don't think we rediscovered it until Arteta these past couple of years, where he's really brought the connection between the fans and the club back.
Room to grow with the ground itself.
Well, there is that they've able to buy some of the houses and terraces. Already now on the Trinity, the stand goes over the road, so and it's also the accessibility, the parking, the driving, that kind of thing as well to get to the club. But yeah, I hope they keep it at Villa Park. There was some talk about them expanding it by another 8,000 seats, which would take it to about 50,000, which hopefully,
that's a lot. Yeah. All right, so we do have to wrap, but I want to end with this: your genuine prediction for your Conference League and the Premier League. Be as honest as you can, be as brutally honest. Where do you think Villa finish? And then we'll have Barry and myself give the same.
Well, I can only say one thing really, and I think we're gonna finish fourth. I think we'll edge out Tottenham. It'll be a tight race.
Mm-hmm. Do you see Man United being a problem for you in that?
I don't think so. I think Man United are up and down. I think with this takeover, apparently they've already talked about 10 other managers that's going to.
I was going to say the manager I've seen linked to them most if Ten Hag leaves is actually Gareth Southgate, which as a rival fan, I'm like, baby, go on, baby.
I wish him all the success.
If that's your first choice, that's your only choice, please.
Yeah, please, definitely. And then of course for the Conference League, it's going to be tough, but I think Emery's capable of winning
his track record in Europe is terrific.
So he's won 4 UEFA Cups in the last 10 years. So yeah, I'm hoping for a fourth place for Villa.
Barry, what are your thoughts to wrap up here? Do you think Villa
fourth?
Okay, and Conference League title?
No, they're fucked.
All right. I'll be the only one to say Villa fifth because I'm going to stand on business with that. I'm sorry. Nothing against you, but I do think you win the Conference League. I think Unai Emery in the Conference League in Europe, he's too good. He knows what he's doing. I think your squad is just deep enough to run that route, and yeah.
Yeah, and if the British teams do well this season, there might be a fifth spot.
Exactly.
So
it's so funny. My friend who's a Tottenham fan hates Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
But he was watching Champions League and we beat Porto, and he's like, hate that I celebrated that because I need that fifth spot to be there just in case things don't go well. But need you in City to keep winning. Hate that I need you in City to keep winning. Cheers. But anyways, I want to say thank you again for coming out, man. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, great to be
here. Let's finish up with our wanker of the week.
The English fans and the English press.
Why?
Gareth Southgate.
You're defending him here.
Yes, I am, because they're all on his back. I know he's got the play. There's been plenty of managers that have had players, and the best players in the world, and won fuck all.
Of course.
Okay, we got through to the final. I'm not a lover. I'm not a lover of his choices sometimes, but I don't know who else would be. The only person I could say I'd like Eddie Howe.
I would love Eddie Howe.
Other than that, I don't know who else.
Yeah, that's fair. Know? That's fair. I am going to go with the Mexico fans who were continuing to chant abuse at the USA players because they were losing last night. I thought it was a bad look. It's something that we made announcements. We put anything we could to try to stop it. We not show the USA goal kicks.
But the thing that now they know that at the end, they know that if they're losing, all they've got to do is start making them chants and singing that song, whatever it is.
No, the game ends. The game will end. We all
that is a shame, and I know it's only.
The game was stopped last night in the 85th minute for about 5 minutes, and it's just
there's enough Mexican fans there that know how to behave. It's just a small minority. It was the same in England.
Yeah.
When everything happens, believe me, it's just a few of them.
I mentioned at the top of the podcast, I love the rivalry and that fight in the stands. That guy, and I know I'm not promoting the fight, but it happened, and look, it was something. But I do think that the abuse shouted at the players, and especially when they've been warned by Concacaf and they know that they will stop getting to go to games if this continues to happen, and they continue to do it. It's just a bad look.
That fan that got knocked over the seats.
Yeah.
Okay. He's got to thank the American team for being 2-0 up.
Thank God.
Imagine
if
you get knocked over.
Up,
Imagine you get knocked over, 5-6 seats, okay?
Yeah.
You come up and they're 0-0 and you give it all that. I mean, that means fuck all.
We're going to do nothing.
Yeah,
he got to get into that. No, trust me. I love the rivalry, but I do think at some point you have to...
Right, the septic doesn't know when to finish the show. We're about to wrap up.
Yeah, thank you guys again for listening.